Good afternoon. Thank you for coming to this press conference. We have a critical change that we want to communicate to our Chase employees as well as anyone else interested in this information. Beginning November 1st, 2019, Chase employees are restricted from using cellular phones and portable devices anywhere inside Chase buildings outside of restricted areas, which I'll talk about in a moment. The policy was made with consideration to our employees. One reason we decided this option was necessary is due to security. While our Chase computers have very strict guidelines on what we can and cannot access, there is no limitations to really what we can access on our cellular phones. Another challenge with people having free access to mobile communication devices are most cell phones have a camera on them which can be used to capture information. This provides a very large risk for our bank and our customers. Second reason is based around productivity. Studies show that cell phones can decrease productivity even in situations where the person isn't actively using their phones. One study states that people look at their phones approximately every 18 minutes, and that includes within the first 5 minutes of waking up as well as the last 5 minutes before going to sleep. An additional study shows that employees spend approximately 5 working hours per week using their cell phones. With more than 200,000 employees in our company, that adds up to more than 1 million hours of lost productivity every week. Our management team is aware of situations where a friend or a family member may need to get a hold of you during work hours. One thing that we're going to set up as part of this policy is an emergency contact team located at each of our major sites. This team will be responsible for contacting you, and no matter if you're in a meeting or at your desk. One option that we're going to have along with this policy is that you have the option to share your Outlook calendar with the emergency contact team. This will aid them if they need to get a hold of you. However, even if that you don't share your calendar, we will still find a way to reach you and communicate this information to you. There will be limited but designated areas available at each of these sites where cell phone use is allowed. These will be probably in the lobby areas or any cafeteria. We understand there are times where you're on a break and you have a legitimate need to use your phone. However, we need to make sure that this use is located only or done only in specific areas where there's no risk to this. So this is a fairly large change, and we understand our employees may have some questions about this particular policy and how it will impact them. I'm now going to open up the floor to questions, and hopefully I'll be able to provide sufficient answers to all of your questions. So does anyone have a question?
With the emergency contact team, are we going to share our external contact with them? So they need to contact us in case I have a family emergency and someone is trying to contact me.
There will be a emergency contact number, and it'll be site specific, so it won't be routed to a call center. It'll be a site specific number, and so you will give that number to your children, your children's schools, any friends that may need to contact you in an emergency, family members or friends that may need to contact you in an emergency situation. And we understand that this is a critical item, especially for people with small children.
Is there going to be any sort of testing period of this to see the productivity on how it's working for some but not for others, and what is it? How is it going to be deemed successful to Chase?
Thank you for the question. That is a good point. We are going to look at various metrics to determine the effectiveness or ineffectiveness of this policy to see how it is or isn't helping us with our productivity. We have seen we have done some advanced studies outside of Chase that do show a increase in productivity when cell phones aren't being used or aren't allowed to be used by employees.
So after the phone call arrives at the site, does someone run down and get it, or how much time have we lost getting the message?
We will work to get a hold of you at the earliest possible, so we will first try to contact you at your desk. Everybody should have a phone at their desk. So that's gonna be our first source of information. However, if we can't reach you, then we'll reach out to other members of your manager, for instance, to try to get a hold of you. So yeah, we'll definitely rush to get you as quick as we can.
How would this process protect our privacy issues?
This is the main thing with the privacy is just having the cell phone immediately at your desk, and even like nobody's really walking around, and they're not gonna be monitoring you per se on your phone. Your managers and everyone will now be aware that cell phones are strictly forbidden at anyone's desk. So anybody that is seen using a cell phone at their desk will be given a warning. And so that will prevent some people from using their phone, which makes it easier to detect people that are trying to do anything malicious for our customers.
So what if you have sick person in the house, like my mom, she is sick, and sometimes like neighbor would call me right away, I have to call emergency, so I have to go, I don't have 5-10 minutes, I have to pack, boom, out of door, so how, it's gonna be an exception?
Yeah, we'll look at exceptions. It'll have to be something we apply for with managers, and we'll review them on an individual case-by-case basis for people that are in that type of situation where they may have a family member who is ill. I believe that is all the time we currently have for questions. One additional piece of information I wanted to share with you is just in general regarding technology addiction. There are some resources that Chase already has in place for anybody that feels like they may be obsessed with their technology. So there is a handout that I provided that has some additional information about digital detox, and that is a JDMC program. There is also a program called Equilibrium, which has some additional information and will help you with that type of addiction. Thank you very much.
So, Joe, outside, where did you hear about this? I have not.
It's not real, that's why I have a policy.